Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, thank you all for tuning into Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your hostess with the mostest, Germ, and it's Wednesday, so longtime listeners already know what time it is. It's media review time. Now, it is media review week, honestly, as I've already reviewed something this week on Monday, that being a Don Toliver Octane review, link of which is going to be in the description. But it is time for me to review my second out of the three, with another one coming soon. Don't you worry, we'll talk about more of that at the end. Right now, though, we are going to be focusing on what we're looking at today, that being the third studio album by one of the best R&B artists out today, one of the few male R&B artists who, in my opinion, is holding it down and staying true to the genre, that being Brent Faiyaz and his album, Icon. It released on February 16th, and at the time, I was honestly not in the best space to really listen to it or receive it. I was going through a bad leg injury, as you all might know or may not know, and I was also dealing with a bad breakup and being ghosted. So that was not something that I was going to be really ready to listen to. I wasn't ready to hear about love and all of its beautiful aspects, but I am now. And to be honest with y'all, just give you a little print or a preview, really sort of upset with myself that I allowed some bullshit to make me not listen for this long, because this man got in his bag. But with all that being said, I want to get mainly into this review and focus on that. So before I start spilling the beans and trauma dumping about emotional breakups and things like that, I'm going to tell y'all to get comfortable, go get some food, prop your feet up, and get ready to enjoy as your Wednesday is made better by a little review by Kinetic Aesthetic. To get the biggest question out of the way when it comes to this project, the answer is yes. I love it. I've long been a fan of Brent Faiyaz. I've loved his last project, Larger Than Life, and I've been checking for his music even before then. But I can honestly say this album has been a hit for me in ways that honestly few before it have hit for me, regardless of genre. For starters, in an era of artificially beefed up track lists where you're just putting songs on there to beef up your streaming numbers, this nigga kept it short, he kept it concise, and he gave us an album that only has 10 songs, and he's only taken up a little over 33 minutes. It has to be said, though, he makes the most of the time. Across all 10 songs, he takes us across a spectrum of feelings and experiences that this man has had when it comes to love. You have feel-good bangers like Other Side and Butterflies, and then you have songs that had me personally reflecting on exes and having to put my phone down like Strangers and Four Seasons. And he was quoted in an interview during his whole rollout for the album saying that he hoped to show his range on this album. And honestly, I feel like he succeeded and he just went above and beyond. A quote of his was that he had a goal of showcasing innocence versus indecency, vulnerability versus guardedness. That's quoting him specifically. And it lands well even with that type of thing, because the track list does a good job of shifting between the two sides. It's like one song you're going to be feeling real good, or you'll have two songs where it's about, the highs and the joys of being in love. But then just to show you the other side of how shit can get real tricky, he moves you over to the other side for a track. And you can tell that the time that he spent working on this, it was only recorded in 2025, but from what I saw, but the last project he had was 2023, and then you got this. So I feel like the time wasn't wasted. He lived, he experienced shit, and you can tell that he used that time to make sure that each song on here was a complete idea and not just a thought. Because it feels like a lot of times on albums, especially with those filler tracks, you'll have shit that a person necessarily doesn't even feel like they completed it, but they just put the song on there so to beef up the track list. With all that being said, I have to take a moment to shout out the executive producer. I apologize if I butcher this name. It's Raphael Sadiq. He's somebody who I've been a big fan of his own music for a while. So when I was going in to look for details on this album and seeing that he executive produced it, it made sense that it came out as nice as it did. Him along with other producers such as Chad Hugo, Benny Blanco, Tommy Richmond, and Mike Dean, they all no doubt helped shape out the masterpiece that this album is. But Raphael Sadiq, I already know that's a guy that I have a lot of respect for musically, so him being the executive producer made a lot of sense again. But when it comes to the music itself, I want to start off by just talking about how the album starts off by doing something that I personally love, which is open up with an instrumental as it's opened. White Noise has no vocals. It's really no hint of Love Brent on it, but I love the track. I feel like it just did a good job with the atmosphere and tone that it set of giving you an idea of what the album is going to be about. I'm a sucker for this approach, and this was no different, and it did its thing for me. I just wanted to make sure I told y'all that. It's great. The first track, though, where you actually hear Brent's vocals, Wrong Faces, it's sort of a normal Brent song. It has him crooning over a slightly melancholy beat, and songs like these that are on the album highlight how we normally hear them, but it's the following track and the ones after that, like, just Have To is one of the songs that I am like, there's a couple of songs on here that I immediately just was like, this shit is a banger. Like, I know this is a hit. And I don't like to just use the 10 out of 10 method because I don't think that anything is almost like perfect, but there's a couple of songs in here that I gave a 10 out of 10, and Have To is one of them. It sees him go from getting away from that toxic element that he is almost like known for, that is his reputation when it comes to his music and his image, and this is him leaning into the brighter side of things, and I love it. I just love that energy. I love the way that he able to make that shit work. He's somebody that I definitely did associate with that whole, bad boy, the cool, the fun guy that's not necessarily good for you long term. And this album is him just, distancing himself from that a little bit. And for me, it's the parts where the album leans into the brighter side, where you're seeing him get more happy with the emotions that he's exploring, and you can sort of notice the disco elements around these songs. The real fun, the danceable stuff. I heard a lot of comparisons to 70s and 80s Michael Jackson when it came to what people would compare this sound to, or these sort of elements on the album. And listen, it ain't Michael Jackson, but damn it, this is some good singing, and this is some good, I get what he was going for, is what I'm trying to say. And, like I said, for a guy whose entire who had projects, like Wasteland was another project of his that I loved, but the whole concept of that was him just being this villain era, I'm not the best guy, but you know what, I'm fun, and now you know what, I'm that nigga. You've got the out of nowhere drama that stirred up between him, DDG, and Halle Berry. That sort of felt like leaned into that whole image of him, and this feels like this is him just being like, nah, that is not me. I'm a grown ass man now. This is a guy that's maturing, and it feels like this is him seeing love and relationships in a more mature way, and I'm here for it. Like, the album nails the slower and more thoughtful moments, and it smashes the more warm and sunny stuff out of the park. There's songs on here that'll make you feel something for all 4 seasons, and yes, that is a pun that's based off the song on the album called 4 Seasons. It's just good. It's just really good music, and I think that, like I said, all like puns aside, there's a song on here that's going to fit you for every different moment of the year. There's songs that I feel like I'm going to be playing a lot during the summer. There's songs I feel like I'm going to want to play a lot during winter and fall, and just everything in between. And don't get me started on how many songs you can have for just your love life. But all in all, this is an album that did nothing but hit for me throughout its entire runtime. And for that, I find it hard to give this shit anything other than a 9.5 out of 10. It is easily the best album I've heard this year, with only the fall off giving it competition. And y'all knowing me, being the big J. Cole fan I am, understand that is not something that I am giving out, or compliments that I'm giving out lightly. The crazy thing is that this is this man's only his 3rd studio album, so I don't know about y'all, but I'm inclined to think that he can still improve. My favorite tracks are, of course, Have To and Other Side. Like I said, I love the groovy elements. I love the danceable parts of it. And one thing about this man, he knows how to make a good bridge to a song and a good hook. I'd love to hear what you think, though. Honestly, after you listen to it, I want everybody to come back here, leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite song is, and let me know which song is getting groovy for you the way some of those other songs are getting groovy for me. All that being said, I wholeheartedly encourage everybody to listen to this. Make sure you go and take some time out. It's only 33 minutes, so it's not going to take up too much of your time. Listen, we're in an era where all of these R&B artists are rapping and trying to, be hard and shit. And Brent came through with something that it is not that old school 90s R&B. It's not gonna, like, if you're an older person, it's not gonna, I'm not trying to make you feel like it's gonna be just that or it's gonna be better, but this is a good ass modern version. And you know what? I'm here for that. I love that. And I think we got to be happy that we're getting that. So, like I said, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching this review. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you comment after you go and listen to the album so I can know what songs that you are feeling. But other than that, this has been Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your boy Germ, the hostess with the mostest. And I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Make sure that you continue to be good people. Make sure you continue to drink a lot of water. Tell your friends and family that you love them. And be on the lookout because we are not done this week. We still got one more review coming. And I might have one more episode coming on top of that. But this has been Kinetic Aesthetic. This has been your boy Germ. Hope y'all have a good rest of your day. I'm out.